And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, this is part two of a hopefully not multi-part session. The sun is out. It's 71 degrees. I'm in a sweater representing Deetroit basketball, but this is the best time of the year to live out in the desert. How you doing?
I'm so happy to see you. It's a great time to be in the desert. I'm doing well. I'm grateful. We have 2 final weeks of the semester. I know you and I spoke about this before we started recording. I am proud of us. I'm proud of all of our colleagues for making it to the end of another glorious semester filled with joy and challenges and lots of lessons. So it feels good, man. It feels really good. I know we have so much to get into on this episode for Gimmick Infringement. First of all, I want to thank everyone who tuned into our Stranger Things special. Thank you to George Romero, as well, our special guest, for joining us to break down Volume 1. That's available here on the channel. Brad, it was a great conversation. I'm already theorizing and feeling giddy about all that's to come in a few weeks on Christmas for Volume 2. More on that at a later date. But for this episode, we're discussing WWE. Saturday Night's Main Event is coming up. On the AEW side of things, Winter Is Coming is here. Pop culture, sports, lots to get into. Just elated to see you, man. Feeling very grateful today. How you been?
I've been really good. Tyler, you said a phrase that is a common phrase. I think still common. I don't know. Every time I bring up a phrase that I think is common, my kids look at me cross-eyed in the classroom. So I have no idea. But it was this, but I'll ask you the question instead. Do you know the etymology of by hook or by crook?
Wow. I used that word earlier today. I do not know. I do not know.
I've used it too. And I just went, where's that from? Okay. It was an English 14th century England, which is wild.
Excellent.
From a custom allowing peasants to gather firewood from royal forests using either a bill hook, a cutting tool, or a shepherd's crook, like that, like gaff hook looking thing. That's it. You can go gather the firewood by hook or by crook, and by hook or by crook. That's it. I'm going to do it one way or the other. Right. And yeah, that's it.
Common.
It's pretty cool. Pretty dope.
Certainly a common expression. I did not know the lineage.
An incredibly ancient one, but yes.
Indeed. Speaking of well-studied people I know, I need to give flowers to my dad as well. I'm going to pivot from education talk. Proud of us. Made it through another semester. Glorious semester. Kids are amazing. And very excited for winter break. That's a summary on work. Brad, somebody else, another guy in my life who I love dearly, my pops. Got to give him his flowers. He met Bailey this past week. So Raw, WWE Monday Night Raw made its way back to Westgate. It was here in the Valley in Glendale. And now, unfortunately, I was not in attendance. We went last year. We were not there this time. But Bailey had a pop-up meet and greet at the local Fry's Food and Grocery. It was sponsored by Wheatley American Vodka. And you and I have chosen careers where we take our absences very seriously. We try not to miss work. And this was a day where I had my first evaluation with our principal. So the stars sometimes align for us in life, especially when it comes to wrestling shows. And other times it just doesn't. This happened to be one where I really did had to be at work, had to be at school. However, my dad, which I was so impressed with, said, "No, I got you. I'm going to go meet Bailey at Fry's." And so we posted this picture to social, Brad. He met her. He said she was incredibly kind.
Awesome.
Lots of people showed up for this event. And then fast forward to this weekend, it's a tradition. My mom is a Christmas Eve baby, and we see Black Nativity together as a family. She buys the tickets. She says it's her present to us. Really, we go for her.
I get it.
You get it. You understand. It's always great. So my point is, we started the week with American Vodka. We ended the week with Jesus. I'm grateful for all of it. It was a really positive week, especially by the end. And I'm excited, like I said, that we are back with a traditional episode of GI, Pro Wrestling Pop Culture. I have questions for you. I can't wait to get into all of it.
You know, I was thinking about the stars aligning. I had to check that date because I remember thinking, oh, we saw the announcement for Dynamite and Collision. It's Maximum Carnage. We're getting Maximum Carnage, but Tyler, it's in January. It's in the middle of January.
It's tough. January
Oh.
14th, if I'm not mistaken. That Wednesday, right?
Yeah, the last time they were here, it coincided with rodeo break. For those of you that are uninitiated, Tucson has a giant rodeo, and most of the schools just shut down for the end of the week. So we get the kind of the second half off. So Thursday, Friday usually off, which means Wednesday it's hike up to Phoenix, usually to Glendale, sometimes in this case to the Financial Theater, which was an awesome venue last time. It's just in it's in the middle of the it's just in the middle of a week, without days off, and it would be a difficult Thursday, Friday after that for me, having to get up there and drive back and then try to sleep. And yeah, so we'll see if the stars are aligning for that one. If not, I'll just white knuckle it through because I'm probably not sleeping at that point anyway. Full show week.
Either way.
But I would love to get up there and go watch another event with you, because that's just one of my favorite things to do, man. Is go to a cool venue and watch a fun event. We have 8 million things to talk about today. There's a lot to be grateful for. There are so many things happening in the world of pro wrestling, including the two most important words in our world. Well said by me, and that is
Steph Watch.
I nearly had a huge instance of FOMO. I thought to myself in the weeks leading up to Raw visiting Glendale, if Stephanie Vaquer comes to my city and I'm not there, is that just a complete dereliction of duty? What do I say to our audience, Brad, when we literally have a segment dedicated to her brilliance, and if she is 20 to 25 minutes away performing, I don't see her? What does that say about me? Luckily, I don't have to worry about these questions any longer because if memory serves, I'm quite sure I watched literally every minute of Raw last week. Stephanie Vaquer was not on the card. She was not wrestling. There was no promo segment. So we're titling this edition of Steph Watch Life After Nikki. The feud with Nikki Bella appears to be over. Stephanie Vaquer defeated her at Survivor Series, and this is the first time we're addressing this on air, again, because we're back to our regularly scheduled program here. So although there was no appearance in Glendale, I am incredibly happy that she is still our women's champion. I really thought leading up to that show, oh, maybe they do put it on Nikki. She's back. She's got merch, the heel turn. What does this mean for La Primera? Luckily, she is still our champ. However, I am curious for your thoughts in particular, Brad, in terms of who is Stephanie Vaquer's next challenger. What is the next program if we are, in fact, leaving Nikki Bella in the rear view? Liv Morgan is back. We know Roxanne Perez is great, and she's always there, although I feel like we've already seen Steph beat her once, if not twice. The Rhea Ripley feud feels like a WrestleMania program to me. We're still several months away from that. We also have a repackaged Natalya, who is going to be making waves as soon as tonight on Monday Night Raw. So I'm really eager and would love to hear your thoughts on where the direction is for who comes after Steph next.
It's a great question because I don't have a really good answer right now. Bianca, maybe I don't know. I would love it to be full heel Bianca, but I think it Natty would be a lot of fun. Given what Natty's been up to in other promotions and whatnot, it's been pretty great. And I think it deserves a main roster moment. And I just don't know what that looks like. How long will that feud last? Does this just carry us to the Rumble? What's after the Rumble? Does she drop it after the Rumble? If she drops it, who's it to? So right now, I don't have a lot of good answers for you. I think Roxanne Perez would be the one if you wanted to build somebody immediately. It'd be her. But I also think, to your point, like she's lost so often that I don't think it makes sense because Survivor Series. This is going to sound potentially blasphemous for people that are listening. Survivor Series, it's not the only reason, but it is the single biggest reason I immediately canceled my subscription to the ESPN gimmick because I paid for that. That was some hot garbage is what that was. I just thought like as wrestling, it was fine, but it was just like some of it didn't make any sense. And it's just like, it didn't feel like they were living up to the moment there. Where it's like, we're going to go big. This is like blood feud stuff. That's why we have to put it in a cage and in a ring and do all this stuff. and then the Steph story stopped with Nikki, and it's just sort of like, well, what does any of this look like after next week? Like, I don't feel like I'm sure they'll figure it out. They always figure it out, but like, well, they usually figure it out, but what's the future look like in general? Like, I don't know who the biggest next threat up is. And I know the idea has been, let's build everybody to be a credible threat. But I feel like they've done, let's build nobody to be a threat to anybody at all. And that way they're all on the same playing field. But I don't feel like anybody's a threat at this moment. I don't feel like anybody's worthy of a title shot at this moment. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you do this. So I got nothing for you.
Part of my worry too is for Stephanie Vauquer's first title reign, I would hate for it to be a complete afterthought. Yes, she's had the championship since, I want to say it was WrestlePalooza in September when she defeated Io Sky.
Yeah, man.
Nikki Bella has been the only feud since then, and that was in September. So we've had October, November, and now we're here almost in mid-December. Still got a week until mid-December, but almost in mid-December, and Nikki Bella has been the only feud. And again, all the vibes are given. Survivor Series was the end of that feud, at least for now. I would just hate for, and we've seen this on numerous occasions in the women's division and in the men's division, frankly, as well, where you have these incredibly talented performers who are super over with the audience. They get the gold, but then months go by. I mean, we saw this with Io when she was champ. Months go by, and there was no feud or there was no program that you can point to and say, "Oh, that was great. That's a signature feud for their career in WWE." Glad she had the opportunity with Nikki Bella. Glad for Nikki Bella to get her flowers coming back. But I think this next program, it needs to be worthwhile. It needs to be something substantive for the audience, or else
Agreed.
I worry Stephanie Vauquer's, I don't want to say her popularity, right? I still got my shirt. I think people are still going to love her because she's amazing at what she does in ring. But I think that the company should really capitalize on all the momentum she's built in 2025. And a lot is going to be determined by who she feuds with next and how much investment they have in that storyline, how much time they get.
Right. And we have, I'm pulling it up right now, so apologies for this. We have all these different storylines. We have all these things going on, but then you look at what's going on with Saturday night's main event.
That's my question for you. In fact, yes.
That's why I was transitioning out. And I wanted to get to that.
like a true pro. It's a big week of wrestling for sure. Another big week.
It is. But she's not on there.
It's an atrocity.
It's
wasn't
crazy.
In Glendale. She's not going to pull up this weekend to DC. Come on now. What are we doing?
I just, I'm glad that currently, anyway, I imagine this is going to be the whole card, the 3 matches. Because of Cena, right? Like, but there's one women's match, which is fine. If you're going to have 3 matches, that's great. That's, a third of the card is a women's match. It's not for anything. I think it's just a match for no title on the line. But it's just egregious not to have Stephanie in there. But I think you put these things in there. There's definitely storylines going on, but they're not like, I don't know. I feel like WWE or creative hasn't made up their mind about what company they want to be lately. They're trying to be like AEW. We're going to book the matches and the tournaments and yada, 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 while also trying to do the storyline stuff. That's like the typical WWE feud storylines with blood feud stuff and kind of doing it halfway. You can't really have these people that are mad because they lost to each other in matches and that's it, then do a Survivor Series match that's not like a blood feud payoff thing where the stakes feel high. Nothing I don't think will ever reach the height and the stakes of that Bloodline run when it was the Bloodline versus like everybody they've wronged. I just don't know that we'll ever get there again. And it makes me wonder whether or not they should stop doing those events, kind of like the way that Hell in the Cell was used as an event rather than a match to end a feud or to end the Fiend's credibility, however you want to look at that. Still thinking about that one. Well, anyway, Tyler, it's egregious that she's not on the card.
Yeah. We still have time WWE, if anyone in creative, anyone behind the scenes is watching or listening
Hope
to
so.
our podcast, there is still time to right this wrong and get La Primera on the show. And the next time you come to Glendale, or the next time you come to Arizona, we want Tucson to get a show at some point as well in the next decade. You got to put La Primera on the card. Come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Brad, I can tell you what we're going to do right now, which is go into my WWE question for you, which is very much all about Saturday night's main event. So there is a big show this weekend, closing out the year on a high, we can hope. Cody Rhodes battles new NXT champion Oba Femi.
Mm-hmm.
Gunther, in fact, is challenging John Cena in the latter's retirement match. And as you highlighted, Bailey is taking on Sol Ruka. I'm going to use my teacher brain for this question, actually. I have a fill-in-the-blank request for you.
Little close answers.
Yeah, exactly. Finish the sentence for me, my friend. Saturday night's main event will be a success if
people watch it. Let me clarify. Past the Cena match. So John Cena made it pretty clear in that recent interview with The Ringer and Bill Simmons. I believe it was in that one because I saw a couple of different clips from different interviews because he's on his retirement tour here. We'll get into that later, but I believe he said he wants to open and he wants to be the first match so that everybody can see the future. He's the past and he wants people to see the future. Will people stay put? It reminds me very much of the Rampage debut of CM Punk, where he was the opening act. He was the first half of the show, essentially. And then it went into Jurassic Express versus someone, and I can't remember who it was. Was it the Lucha Brothers? I can't remember who it was.
I don't remember, but I do recall Jon Moxley defeated Daniel Garcia in the main event match. So and that was well before Daniel Garcia was an established
still Red Death
name.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he was he still in, he was just starting out in 2.0, I think, with them.
He was.
That. And then it was, but pre-Yaz.
Right. This was really going in the vault. Correct.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy by you. I'm with you.
Yeah. But it's just that, how many people kept watching? What are we going to have left after that too? The emotional high or low, depending on how you look at it. Does he leave his sneakers in the ring? Does he give a speech afterward? Does he pass the torch to anybody, to Gunther, to the people in the back, to a female wrestler? I don't know. The dude is like unbelievably, amazingly kind and empathetic and giving forward to people in the business and in general. There was a story, speaking of Natty, where she was being interviewed on Zoom, and I don't remember who she was talking to. I think it was Zoom, where Cena just went to the dungeon to train with people not that long ago, and just went there to train to do some stuff. He said, like, hey, do you want me to swing by and I can talk to some of the talent there? And she's like, yeah, that'd be great. And he went there and worked with them, and they're all asking great questions and stuff. And at the end, he was like, what can I do to improve? And everybody was just staring at him like, what do you mean? What could you do to improve? Like, you're the greatest of all time. That hearing that story changed. I will never look at that dude in a negative way after that, unless he does something totally heinous, just because of the way he is with his time and with the way he thinks. And I agree with him. His thought process behind this is, it's the right one. It's I want to pass it forward because I'm not going to be doing this anymore. The focus shouldn't just be on me. Sure, celebrate me, whatever, because I'm done after this. But let's highlight what we got coming up next so that people stick around to watch. And that makes the business better for the future. And I get to pay what it gave me forward to the people that are here now. Saturday night's main event will be a success if the viewership doesn't decline more than 50%. I think 50% is like a huge drop off, and I can absolutely see that happening. I don't know what it's competing against. I don't know what's going on Saturday. I don't know if there's any releases happening. I have no idea, other than the new Knives Out movies coming out on Netflix at that point. It's in theaters now, and I really wish I could have gone, but I will be tuning in on December 12th. That will be over the weekend, and maybe people will stick around to watch that. Maybe they'll go from Peacock to Netflix. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that casual fans will be tuning in. Diehards will be tuning in. People that were like, oh man, John Cena is going to stop doing this. I haven't watched in 10 years. They're going to be tuning in. Will they stick around to see the product? And I think if they can get people to stay put, then that's a huge win for them. Monetarily speaking, that it doesn't matter if people watch anymore or if people are, showing up to the arenas. We know this is a sellout. It's John Cena's last match. It's they planned this year out so stupidly for him, but it's John Cena's last match. It's sold out. People are going to watch. Millions and millions and millions of people are going to watch, and it's going to be dope. Will they stay to watch Bayley and Sol Ruca for no title? Will they stay and watch Cody and Oba Femi? Because we're not even talking just the future of WWE. We're talking about talent that's not on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or necessarily on a WrestleMania card. Even though I would love to see both of them on there. We've been talking about Oba Femi forever, and I've been on Sol Ruca since I've seen her. So I will just see what happens, I guess. I don't know. But if people stick around to watch, maybe that bumps ratings a little bit. But I think it's about establishing a vibe for the future. And if they can get people to pay attention to it, big win. I'm not sure how you view it. How do you view this?
Yeah, well, I'll give my commentary and then I'll close with answering the question. I am very hopeful for this show. I just saw news this morning that you shared with us about Cena versus Gunther is going to open the show. And like you said, I'm sure we'll get the pumps or the sneakers in the ring and then the speech and the locker room coming out. And I'm very excited for all of that. Bayley versus Sol Ruca should be awesome.
It's going to be such a good match, dude.
Of course. And we know
I'm more excited about that match than I am about anything else on this card.
Wow.
And I'm not kidding.
That's a bold statement. I respect you standing 10 toes down on that.
Just because I want people to see both of them wrestle. I want people to see that. It's not that I'm not excited for the matches, because give me Gunther Cena. That match is going to effing rule. But Sol Ruca is so good, and Bayley's incredible.
She is. If we look at that crowded NXT women's roster, so many talented ladies, wrestling on Tuesday. Sol Ruca has really emerged as being one of the can't miss people on NXT's roster. So I love that she's getting the shine. Of course, we always love Bayley getting these big moments. Not only is she a babyface in real life, according to my pops, but also behind the scenes, we know that she is totally invested, like John Cena, in helping usher in the next generation and giving them the resources and the tutelage to soar. She had that event, I think it was something Lord Stone over the weekend, wasn't it? It was kind of like a camp where she got together a lot of independent women in the industry for this. I think it was like a weekend.
I can't remember the name of it either.
Yeah, it was basically like camp for grown folks who are trying to really make their name in the industry. So anyway, we love Bayley here. We love Sol Ruca. I initially would be hesitant for a 3-match, 2-hour card, but I think the pieces are starting to come together, and particularly for Cody versus Oba. Brad, I had this slotted in as my WrestleMania 45 main event. The fact that we're getting this weekend, Oba Femi just defeated Ricky Saints at NXT Deadline, and now he is not only has his title back as a 2-time champion, NXT World Champ, but he now earns the right to fight Cody. I wonder what shenanigans are going to happen in this match. I don't foresee Oba just straight getting pinned. I don't know if maybe Ricky comes to Cody's defense and does something nefarious to help Cody win. I don't know if there's a count-out situation, but I am incredibly invested in this match because I foresee this once more as a future WrestleMania main event. The fact that we're getting it at Saturday night's main event, sign me up. I have all the stock in Oba Femi. I frankly want him to beat Cody this weekend. Although I don't think that's going to happen, I'm going to be locked in for that match. I'm just excited to see what they have in store there.
Do you think Ethan Page runs in?
To cost
Cody, and then Ricky comes in to I could see some shenanigans. I'm just thinking like what heel would come in.
Right. How are they?
Ricky showing up makes a ton of sense to be in his corner, but I can also see Ricky turning on Cody because they have a good relationship, and
Interesting.
like him costing him
Sure.
would be great.
Presumably with Javon Evans winning the men's Iron Survivor, and now Tony D'Angelo is back with a totally seemingly new persona. Seemingly Ricky Saints is not long for Tuesdays anymore. He's going to be showing up on Mondays or on Fridays. Yeah, I could see that. I want them to protect Oba at all costs. Not that Oba needs any protection. I mean, the man has grown muscles since he's been back. I just don't know how that's possible. The way he looks now, it's tremendous. Not that he needs any protection, literally or figuratively, but this character is just, it's so precious to me that I don't want them to ruin it. Because as you pointed out, Brad, this is going to be the first time a lot of fans are seeing Oba Femi.
Yeah.
I think they really need to get his presentation right. And if that first match, I think let's say a double count out or interference is more likely than someone helping Oba win, or, the debut of Oba being secondary or tertiary storyline wise, leaving the match. I want his debut on the main roster, which effectively is this Saturday, to be a huge deal and to be the 1 or the 1A story leaving this particular match, which should be the main event. I could see Ricky, but I just don't want Oba to get lost in the shuffle of whatever this match is going to be. I'll be tuning in either way.
There's a possibility that they screw it up. I don't think they will. I don't think Cody and Oba will allow that to happen. I don't think Cody in particular will allow that to happen. Because you know how important he is to the company, and you know how much he cares about the business and making everybody look good that he's in the ring with. I think it's going to be great. Again, I go back to, will people be there to see it that aren't watching regularly? How many new viewers will actually get eyes on Oba Femi?
Right, will stay. Sure.
Because I'm sure that's going to be the main event.
Yes.
I'm sure they're going to go Cena and then Bailey, Solruka.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Even
maybe there's a
would rather
promo,
see
or
it
maybe
around.
maybe the vision pulls up. Maybe we can get nice things before Christmas, and Steph
CM Punk might make an appearance
show,
because that would be good for keeping people retained, right?
CM Punk could be there, absolutely. Let me close this part of our segment by answering my own question, since I promised I try to be a man of my word.
Yeah.
And I've been saving this bar for the past 25 minutes. Saturday night's main event will be a success if no one from the Trump administration is present, or at least on camera. All the good vibes, all of the excitement I'm sharing will be washed away if within the first 30 minutes, if during the celebration of John Cena, all that is probably the first hour of this show, let's be real. If the president is on camera, if RFK is pulling up, if that is a part of this production, Brad Winchester, I'm here to tell you, I may be one of those fans you're worried about who may tune out and may go to Martin reruns on BET or something else, something on Netflix. We'll talk about Netflix actually in a little bit. I could be one of those fans. This is very important to me. If they're in attendance, so be it. It should be just down the road, I guess. I don't know DC very well, but on camera, anything that would lead me to say the show was not a success. There's a lot riding on this Saturday, as you can tell.
I didn't know Martin reruns were on BET. I might be tuning in if I can figure out how to stream it. I loved that show, man. I used to watch it all the time. So good.
It's a classic.
Just the repetition of the name Martin over and over for the theme song was great. You pop me. I got nothing to add there. Although I do think you're going to run into some problems if just Triple H comes out to say, "Are you ready?" Because you're immediately talking to a member of, I guess is it technically the cabinet? I don't really know. Cause he's like the physical person. I don't know what that is. It's
unfortunate.
Yeah. It's I think some form of strange nepotism. I don't.
Yeah. He's a member of the health advisory,
committee, right?
Committee.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see Triple H is probably going to open the show, and then we'll get the John Cena match, but so be it.
What if it's The Rock? And he announces his candidacy. All right, let's just move on. Tyler, my question for you. So I already alluded to Bill Simmons and that interview. So
Good
John Cena revealed in the recent interview with Bill Simmons on The Ringer, or I guess working for The Ringer, running The Ringer, I'm not really sure how that works, that he wanted to do 220 plus dates. He wanted to do a full calendar year, a full calendar year. He wanted to do a WWE schedule. This man went, I'm not taking any jobs or opportunities. I want to wrestle full time for a year. That's important to note. WWE told them they needed him for 36 dates. He wanted to do 220. They gave him 36. Tyler, was this a misstep by WWE? I have other thoughts, but it's the only way I could think of phrasing it other than, or was this flatly insulting to John Cena's wishes for his final run?
I would say a little bit of both in this case. Obviously, the more John Cena wants to work in his last year as a wrestler, I would suspect you want to honor that, and you can find the creative to make that work. When we look back on what this final year means, I think it's important for us to remember this would, and this is really inherent in your question, actually, Brad. This was not a perfectly orchestrated final year whatsoever. If we think back to just as recent as April, and actually it was February, I want to say, right? Elimination Chamber leading to the April WrestleMania match against Cody. The heel turn that was good until it wasn't.
Yeah. It was such a great moment.
Right. The reveal about the dates coming out, as you just said. And then if we forget about that weird heel turn period that resulted in Travis Scott playing a role in the main event of WrestleMania. And then here we are now, finally, where John Cena is a babyface and we can sing along with his theme song and we can do all the rooting for John Cena that we want. It's really perplexing. It seems insulting. I wonder what those conversations were like, as you pointed out, as he expressed wanting to work more dates. And perhaps WWE saying, no, we have you penciled in for these specific, 3 dozen or what have you. It seems insulting. I wonder what more is there. I'm just glad that they made the pivot when they did, because I'm trying to think of a storyline that had so much potential that went bad so quickly.
Yeah.
And because they've gotten Cena right these past few months, by and large, it's luckily put that totally in my rear view. Like when I think of John Cena's last year, I don't initially think of that heel turn. Yeah. I'm just glad that creatively they made that pivot, because that was insulting to fans. That was insulting to all of us, what we got all those months ago, particularly that WrestleMania Night 2 main event. I'm glad they wrote that wrong. In terms of righting the wrong of scheduling him, that seems really perplexing, does it not? I would agree with you that it would seem insulting. What say you?
I think it's crazy. If he wanted to do it, let him do it. Because he said the only reason he wants to do it now is because he can still do it. He finds himself slowing down and all that, but he's like, I can do this at a very high level, but I can tell like this isn't lasting much longer. We got to wrap it up before I can't do it at a high level. He'll be able to do it, but not well. And if he wants to do it, let him do it. The thing that makes me crazy, it's not like people aren't asking to work with him in the film industry. Like generally he's beloved. James Gunn loves working with him. Like capital L loves working with this dude. And, other places are like, oh yeah, he was actually surprisingly really good. Everybody's always surprised by Cena's range when he does stuff. I think it's about finding the director in the role. And I think with Peacemaker, it's the perfect fit where he can show an emotional range, but also be campy, deadpan John Cena. But he said he cleared his entire calendar, his entire schedule for a year. I'm not taking anything. I'm not doing anything specifically to wrestle for that year. And out of it, he got a month's worth of wrestling instead of the 220 days he asked for. Not was like, oh, I'd be happy to do that if you ask me. He was like, I want to do 220. And you're like, cool, here's 36. What he did do, and this was with, I believe, with Nick Khan when he was on Impulsive. I don't know if you saw any clips from that interview. Nick Khan's always just kind of saying stuff, but he also said that Cena specifically would sit down and be like, so where are we going? Here's my idea for merchandise for this city that we're going to. And he planned all of that ahead of time because he was like, well, where are we? Oh, we're at this place. This is where the Clippers plays. So no Lakers colors. We got to make sure we do this. Let's do Dodgers colors instead. Like just being really thoughtful and purposeful about his audience locally and about meeting as many people in person as possible. And then you take that away. by not having him appear at all these things. And I'm not saying that it would be healthy in any way to do all of those extra dates, because you have like the Saturday night main events and Raw and SmackDown and PLEs. We're looking at what, 12 to 20 PLEs a year, depends on which ones you're working. NXT, if you show up, 104 episodes of television. Like the numbers tick up really quick. Throw in Saturday night main event, there's like 4 or 5 of those, and you're at like 150, we'll say. That's still way shy of the 220 he said he wanted to work. You could have had him work every episode of television and had it made sense, because he was willing to do it. I would have done that. I know that might make the branding thing weird, but I don't know what his contract looks like. I don't know what those contracts look like for the television partners. So I don't know if Netflix has exclusive rights to just certain superstars. I know that's been reported in the past about like Roman is a Friday Night SmackDown guy who doesn't go to Raw, versus Roman is a Friday Night SmackDown guy who can make appearances. But John Cena I think is a free agent. He's not a member of any brand. So you could have had him at both, floating around, going to NXT, doing what Edge did when he came back and won the Rumble, and then was going like, I never won the NXT title. Maybe that's the one I'm going to challenge for. That was such a cool moment where he was at the Performance Center and going like, I might take this title. And going like, yeah, he might. He's unhinged. He's the rated R superstar. And I think they could have done a lot with that. I just don't get it. I just think I would be insulted. Like he's a patient person, and I know he's like, I don't get to make decisions. I'm not the company. But I would be really sad if I cleared my schedule to work and do that thing I love one last time for as many dates as possible. And they were like, we don't really need you for that many dates. It would have been extra awesome if it was like, after those dates are done, feel free to do whatever. And he shows up at like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla or MLW or something like that. That would have been amazing. Maybe do some OVW events, that could have been really cool. But of course they're not going to do that. And maybe he makes appearances in other places as John Cena, but not, wrestling, obviously. I doubt that'll ever happen. I think he's a WWE guy forever. And I don't think he'll go to other companies. He's a corporate man. And I don't know, because of that and how much money they've made from him and how he kept the company afloat during some of the darkest periods of the company. I just can't believe they didn't give him what he asked for, even if he might need to be protected from himself, one might say. I don't think that he would have had a problem doing it. I just don't.
It's a one of one, easy for me to say, career in so many aspects, Brad. Even though that reveal had us scratching our heads, something else that had us scratching our heads from this past week. You actually broke the news to me about this, as a matter of fact. So,
very nice.
I say we discuss it. It's been a minute. Let's play the music. It's time for What Happened Here.
What happened here?
Brad, I'm going to toss this up and I'm going to kick it to you. I know you have many thoughts about this story. Netflix, a network that a streaming platform we are very familiar with. We have a whole special Stranger Things Volume 2 review coming this Christmas. We are quite invested in all that is Netflix. Some of our favorite programs, some of our favorite options on streaming are a part of this app. Brad, Netflix is making money moves. Last week, news broke that Netflix is acquiring Warner Brothers in a reported $83 billion deal. What do you make of this? What happened here?
I don't know, because the number keeps fluctuating. So 72 was the first number. That's the one that I sent you. 72 has been reported by a bunch. Reuters. And then it was 82. And then it was 83. And now it's 82.7. I really don't know.
Can we round that up? Credit the New York Times, the Washington Post for that number.
Yeah, it's just it's very like, we don't know. We just know it's over $72 billion. I want to remind everybody that I had to look it up because it's a famous number. It's $50 million. Tyler, do you know what this has to do with anything? 50 million.
No, I don't.
That was the number that Blockbuster Video rejected to as an offer from Netflix to purchase Netflix. And they were like, nah, we're good here. Netflix just spent maybe 80 billion. We don't really know. We'll just say up to $85 billion, $85 billion to buy freaking Warner Brothers. Like just all of it. And here's the important part. We know Netflix is the number one streaming platform. Do you know what number 2 is?
By
it's not
subscriber
HBO.
count? Right.
I think either by not subscriber count necessarily. We'll go by subscriber count, views, whatever.
By revenue. Well, it's not HBO. That's tough. I'm going to say Hulu.
It's a really hard one because it's technically not a subscription service. It just comes with it. It's Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is number 2 in streaming. Number 3 is HBO Max. They will own the number 1 and number 3, or really number 1 and number 2 if you want to just discount or discredit Amazon as a streaming platform because it's a shopping platform. They would own the two of the 3 biggest platforms, would create obviously the biggest one. This is what antitrust laws are designed to protect against. So I don't think for a second that this is going to pass. I don't think it's going to get approved. I think it's going to get shut down. If it gets approved, then nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. Things are going to get gobbled up and we're going to have giant monopolies all over the place. And everything's already a cluster politically and economically that I just don't like where they're working on passing laws so presidents can't get kicked out of office. It's just crazy right now. So I think it's going to get shut down. So the biggest question coming out of this is, Tyler, why would they try to make a deal they know is going to fail?
Yeah, It's a great question. Is that a rhetorical question or you have a thought on this one?
I have a thought. So
I figured you did. Please continue.
I didn't know if you did. I didn't know if you did. I was trying to see if you could come up with it because
I'm processing all this. What does it mean for our wrestling? Netflix now
under
their umbrella has
WWE
and okay, continue to cook. I got you.
Yeah. So it depends on how they branch out and brand. Do they do a Microsoft and Windows separation because of the monopoly thing? All they did was separate the companies. So Microsoft is separate from Windows. But they're like clearly not. It doesn't matter if they have the same COO or CEO, I guess, or president of the company, whatever. If they own both, whatever, who controls the shares? That's really the important part there. But the idea that Netflix would own all of Turner and Warner Bros. And HBO products and properties. Number one,
the entire Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yes.
Universe.
Number one, the prospect of access and making my Netflix account go from $20 or whatever I'm paying right now to $30. I don't hate it because if it gets rid of the other subscription, cool. I got to pay $30 and I have more. That's all right with me. But what's going to happen to the theater industry? The way that this will work is if you shut down and there's a deal, this isn't going to get finalized for a while. If it does, it's going to be right away. Otherwise, it's going to go into like arbitration and they're going to talk about it and all of those things for a year or two, which means they can't do crap for a year or two. Any new project that Warner Brothers Discovery wants to do, they're not going to approve it because of the pending offer and the pending acquisition, which means it'll be dead in the water, which means every bit of their assets will become devalued. So all of their stuff gets lessened in value, and then they can sell them off to other places or acquire them more cheaply. And even if Netflix holds Warner Brothers hostage for 2 years with this thing that they know isn't going to go anywhere. They will be able to buy the rights to certain properties because they will have the money and the capital, while Warner Brothers Discovery won't know if they will. And people won't go there. They won't be able to shop there. And then their assets devalue. And by the time the trade or the acquisition lessens, they're going to have to file for bankruptcy or do something anyway and restructure and reorganize, which will then allow them to be purchased. Because once the devaluation happens, that purchase can happen again. So it's like this long game of we're going to buy it, we're going to force the price down, which will raise the costs for everybody else, and then we'll gobble it up. But that means Paramount has an opportunity to get shows that Warner Brothers aren't able to do. I don't know how this is going to affect like DC Studios. DC Studios, who has a slate of films coming up, which is run independently, but through Warner Brothers Discovery. It's kind of like, Marvel Studios, but it's Disney. So what happens to the DC Studios projects if it's also maybe a Netflix brand now? Do they go to mass releases, or do they just go straight to streaming, or is there a combination of both, like this Knives Out gimmick where they're doing it in theaters as a limited run early and then putting it on Netflix? I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, for us, the most fascinating part of all of this is what happens with the rights to wrestling. Will they have AEW on there? Will AEW, because of the deal, pressure Netflix? In this case, it would, or WWE, TKO Holdings pressure Netflix to essentially say, you're not going to stream any of these. If you do not put it on you can watch this thing and bury it in the search, or only put it on limited places, or put it on a streaming platform so awful to use. Shout out to TNT and TBS apps. So awful to use that nobody will want to go there. Or did they just brand out and do with like, what's the name of the company? Disney had a company. Was it Touchstone? I can't remember what the company was that Disney ran. I'm blanking. That was supposed to be like their more adult fare that was separate from Disney. So
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, so you'd know well, I don't know if you'd know, you're a youngin. I'm trying to think. I'll have to look it up in a minute, but they basically did a separate studio that didn't say Disney on it, so they could do like more adult things. And I can see them doing that and going like, well, we're going to have this stuff here. HBO is going to be the HBO content you know and love. And then we'll just put like all the Discovery stuff. We can put it on both if we want to, or whatever. Keep things the way they are, force people into a separate subscription model, so that you have to get Netflix and HBO if you want both of those things. I could see them doing all kinds of stuff if this gets approved. I just don't know if it'll get approved. I just think it won't. But at this point, who knows what's going to happen? But it's according to the AI overview I got, it is subject to regulatory approval and expected to close in late 2026 or 27, which means we probably won't know until the end, this time next year or later, if it's going to happen. And because of that, Warner Brothers Discovery will be locked out of doing anything new up to that point. So going to be really scary and interesting to see what happens here. I'm going to kick it to you and your 8 pixels.
Yeah, it absolutely will. Can you still hear me?
Oh, I can. I think you're about 10 miles behind, but yes.
Yeah. I was worried about that. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to track, Brad. I know we'll discuss it here, and the wrestling implications are incredibly interesting. We shall see. Time will tell.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. There's a lot of things I don't know about, Tyler. We are going to try, though. We have AEW just doing lots and lots of different things right now. We're going to talk a couple of things, so hit me with your question.
Yeah. So big week, not only for WWE, but certainly for AEW. Here's my question. Winter is Coming goes down this Wednesday. Eddie Kingston looks to dethrone Samoa Joe, and the Babes of Wrath will take on the Timeless Love Bombs to crown the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. What have you thought of the Women's Tag Tourney now that it is at its conclusion? And finally, who should win this match?
I think it's been really fun. It's been good. It hasn't been perfect, no, but it's been a blast. Getting to see the women like in different combinations, sure. Tag team, sure. Not singles, whatever. We get to see them on our screens. My only regret there is that in the middle of it, Penelope got hurt because I freaking love her. Um, I think the Babes of Wrath have to win. I don't know how else to say it. Do I think they're going to? I don't know. I just think that Tony and I'm really struggling. I really want Babes of Wrath to win. I think both of them benefit more from it than the other two. And maybe you have them go off and have a feud and they fight each other. I don't know. That could be fun too. I just, yeah, have no idea, man. I thought this tournament was a lot of fun.
Me too. I've really enjoyed it. As you pointed out, the injury to Penelope was devastating because I thought her and Megan Bain, well, number one, because we want everyone we root for to be healthy, but also because I thought Megan Bain and Penelope Ford had as strong of a case as any team. It's unfortunate that the original teams did not make it incredibly far. No original teams in the finals, thinking of the Ty Mellos, the Sisters of Sin, I should say, of the world, who have been partners for, let's say, at least 6 months, a year. In the case of Ty J, for multiple years. That's unfortunate. But I'm excited for the finals that we have in front of us. I also would agree that the Timeless Love Bombs are by far the favorite heading into this match. I would love a Babes of Wrath win, but I would argue that Timeless Love Bombs winning should be the move here because following Mercedes Moné losing at ROH Final Battle to Red Velvet, this works out perfectly for Mercedes Moné to defend her TBS championship at World's End on the 27th and lose to the one, the only, the incomparable Willow Nightingale.
I love the vision.
That should be the move here. Sign me up for all of this. Love the Babes of Wrath. However, I think during our next episode of GI, we're going to be celebrating the Timeless Love Bombs victory because I believe, well, you can even make a case for Harley Cameron being the person to dethrone Mercedes, but I think we're going to lean right into, one can only hope, Willow challenging Mercedes in a few weeks and Willow becoming the new TBS champ. We're going to run that match back from Double or Nothing from a few years ago, but different victor this time. Are you here for my agenda? Do you see the vision as well?
Yes, because we also know that Willow has a win for a belt over Mercedes Moné in New Japan. So it's not out of the question for that to happen. Granted, I don't think that was the original finish, and it was because she got hurt in the match. But either way, pre-AEW debut for Mercedes Moné, I believe, right? Like that was right before she signed on with the company and debuted. I can't remember.
That sounds right.
Yeah. God, it feels like forever ago. But
we'll go with that.
But that was her first singles title that we saw her carry, especially on TV. And I think that, I'm here for it. I think you're right. I also think that I want the Babes of Wrath to win if they're going to keep them as a tag team. But I also think for the sake of everything happening, like you laid out, that's the move. And I think it'll be great.
I could totally see AEW pivoting, though, at the same time. And Babes of Wrath, I think they, even though Timeless Love Bombs are the favorite here, I could absolutely see a world in which they get the victory and the crowd is totally behind it. This dynamic of a babyface team versus another babyface team is going to be really interesting. I'm eager to see if the crowd ends up leaning one way or the other. If they do, I actually think they're going to lean into Babes of Wrath. And I don't know that they're going to flat out boo the Timeless Love Bombs, but I'm really invested in this match. I told you I'm invested in Oba versus Cody. For WWE, for AEW, I'm incredibly invested in this match. I foresee it'll probably open the show on Wednesday. I would love for it to main event, but the more I think about it, the Babes of Wrath would make a lot of sense, but I just see Willow and Mercedes running it back at World's End. Not saying Willow can't be a double champ. We know AEW is not adverse to having people be double champions.
Right.
Shout out Samoa Joe, but that's just what I foresee on how this goes down. I think Willow ends up taking that title off of Mercedes, and maybe Harley's there at ringside cheering her on. But these two are really fun together. I hope this isn't it for them if they do in fact end up lose this match.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying too, and I think you're right. The tag match probably opens, And I think Eddie and Samoa Joe probably close with that tagger in the middle with Hangman and Swerve against the other parts of the ops. So on that note, Tyler, we got tournaments abound. Okay, we have the women's championship, we got the Continental Classic, we got so many different things happening here, right? What do you think about all of these tournaments, and how are you feeling about AEW right now?
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling very optimistic. The Continental Classic has all of the bones to be the best one to date. I want to say this is at least their third.
I think you're right.
C2,
Yeah.
maybe their
Third or
fourth. I want to
fourth.
say it's
Yeah.
their third. This has all the signs of being their best one so far. I have thoroughly enjoyed everything that we've gotten from it. This has to end up resulting in Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. Speaking of World's
Agreed.
End, if the World's End card is going to be highlighted by Willow versus Mercedes, Okada versus Takeshita, and then fill in the third. I'm not sure what the Samoa Joe match is going to be. Is it too soon for Joe versus Swerve? We shall see. Do we get Hangman v Swerve v Joe? Either way, I'm really enjoying it. It is very tournament heavy right now on TV. We're wrapping up the women's tag tourney as we described, and then the C2 is going strong. I'm really enjoying it. I actually think it's made the weekly programs much more enjoyable, not to be redundant, but I think it's off to a really hot start, and I'm feeling very optimistic heading into the new year. And also about the C2, Brad, then I'll kick it to you. The storylines that are woven into this tournament have been really juicy, for lack of a better term, because you also have the downfall of Jon Moxley happening right before us. Claudio Castagnoli defeating him
Spinning
during
him.
the main of yes,
To the
during
double,
the main
the double birds.
Yeah, during the main event of last week's Dynamite. And then there's another one. Oh, and then you also, this is third on my power ranking here, but you also have the conglomeration. Roderick Strong not being here for any of Orange Cassidy's antics or humor. To me, the C2 feels a bit unique in that we have these storylines moving forward as a part of the tournament. And at the same time, we're not making the egregious error of saying, okay, let's have our new TNT champion enroll or insert themselves into the C2, take a bunch of pins, and then hope the best for their title reign after. I love that Mark Briscoe is not involved in this. I think that was a critical error they made last year with having Daniel Garcia take part in the C2. He just had this triumphant moment, right? It was in Full Gear, was in Jersey, not too far from his home state of New York. He had this crowning achievement. He became the TNT champ. I think he beat the scapegoat Jack Perry actually to earn that title. And then they had him pull up at the C2, and then he ate a bunch of pins.
Right after winning.
I'm
Absolutely
laughing.
Crazy.
I'm laughing as to avoid not crying or not yelling louder into this microphone. It doomed Daniel Garcia's reign, which was a complete unforced error. I have not seen as many unforced errors. Kyle Fletcher is being highlighted. Kevin Knight is being highlighted. I mean, the field is just incredible. It's loaded. And I think where we're going to end up, this long-term story, this feud of Okada and Takeshita being the finale, will be the perfect conclusion to what I hope will be the best C2 yet. Now, what's not perfect is the title implications. If Okada loses this tournament, is he still the Continental champion, but the winner gets the other? I'm a bit still confused on what the title implications are, particularly if Okada loses. He should lose everything. He shouldn't still have a title. That I'm not loving. But in terms of the storytelling and the graps themselves, it's been tremendous. And like I said, I am totally here for the women's tag tourney finale. I've loved it so far by and large. How about you?
Yeah, it's weird because he has a unified title and you can't exactly cut it in half.
I don't think that's how this thing works. Yeah, very confusing.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if they just forgot. I like that they're like, it'd be really cool if you had the champion enter because he's so confident that he thinks he's going to win it again. And that's fine. I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. I just think that it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want what happened to Danny to happen to anybody else. And I don't think it will. But if what happens if Okada loses during the tournament before the final? does he lose his title? Like I just I don't know. I got a lot of questions. Does he relinquish the title and have to win it back? Like that's the way that I imagine that working. But I have no idea. But I'm here for it. I think the tournaments are great. I love AEW for doing tournaments. And then when they have their other matches on there, they feel more important. Like that's where not that there's not storytelling happening within the tournaments, because as you laid out, there's definitely good stories. They're very juicy stories, as you said. But I think it lets the other stuff play out a little bit more and, just feel like, I guess I can't think of any other words other than it feels more important. Now, that being said, could I do without Jamie Hayter constantly fighting the Sisters of Sin in some way? Yes, I could. I'd kind of like to see her move on with her life, even if it is with Chris Statlander. Yeah. I'd also like to see her stop fighting the Sisters of Sin. I'm tired, and you're buffering, so that's good.
Amen. This is a case of we need that partnership and here.
Robo Ty has made an appearance. We haven't seen Robo Ty in a while. This is 10 pixel.
We back.
Hey, there he is. You were saying? I think it was something.
Oh yeah.
You're in your RFK phase.
Yeah. That was exactly it. I just was echoing. Yeah, probably literally echoing your point of Hayter and Stat teaming up to still fight the Sisters of Sin, but this needs to be a case where we're friends right now, but I need that title program between those two.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
And then Megan Bayne ends up defeating both of them, and she's the next champ by summer.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, I have no complaints. That would be awesome.
She's the one. She's the one to beat Chris. Yeah, she's the one to beat Chris. But we love Jamie Hayter as well, for sure.
Yeah, I want to say she's bulletproof, but I want her with a title in this current look. Since she's come back as 70s Hayter, it's just different. But let's get into it. Let's play the music. We haven't done this in a hot minute, Tyler. GI at the movies. Let's go.
And now it's time for GI at the movies.
And this is a special GI at the movies because we have a double feature. I'll go first and I'll kick it to you, B. On HBO, going back full circle for this edition of GI, going back to HBO, now available on that platform, there is a 3-part docu-series entitled Alex vs. Arod, which spotlights the life and career of one Alex Rodriguez. What a unique career it's been for the retired MLB star, dating all the way back to his childhood in New York. I forgot that he has ties to Washington Heights, where my dad spent a lot of his youth. And then tracking his time with the Seattle Mariners as a rookie, he gets the fat contract with the Texas Rangers, the Yankee era, the PED scandals, plural. It's a really great in-depth look into, once again, a one-of-one career. We said a one-of-one career for John Cena. Alex Rodriguez, I would argue, also a very unique one-of-one career.
Yeah,
for different reasons, but the talent obviously undeniable. And what's interesting to me, and what the documentary does really well, is investing time into exploring how he's remade his image. I think this has been one of the savviest image makeovers or image turnarounds in media within the last decade. Obviously, he's a frequent contributor on MLB Postgame. He's an owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's also a proud dad. The docuseries focuses on his image as a dad with his 2 daughters. And the documentary also explores the fractured, relationship he being Rodriguez, with his own dad and the ramifications that has had on his career and his life. So I know people usually feel the way when they hear the name A-Rod, for better or worse, but this docuseries really told the story of the person behind the home runs, behind the transgressions, and it's really very much worth a watch. I also have a memory of dressing as Alex Rodriguez for Halloween. I don't know if I shared this with you. I must have been maybe 10 or 11.
That's awesome.
And my family, my parents, got me the the white Texas Rangers A-Rod jersey. I even had the blue Texas Rangers cap with the T on it. And I'll never forget trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. And one neighbor saying, I don't know if this was a neighbor or maybe just a fellow trick-or-treater, they booed me while I was getting my Kit Kats in jest. But they said,
sure.
You're overpaid, this, that, and the other. And so, again, people really feel a way about A-Rod back then and maybe even now, but I think he's made a lot of inroads. And he shares as much in the documentary of admitting his faults, unpacking what led him to make the decisions he made, but then also reaching a point in his life now where he's participated in therapy. He's really just thought critically about why he made the decisions he made, and it seems like he is at peace in his life now. 3-part docuseries, Alex versus A-Rod, worth a watch. Let us know what you think if you check this out. And I wish I still had that jersey. I wonder if I do. Maybe I can find it somewhere. Anyway, lots of memories with A-Rod growing up. Brad Winchester, you saw a movie. I know you were excited about it. Talk to us.
Excited is a strong word. It was one of the days this week I was staying home because my migraine pain had gotten to a point where I thought my face was going to burst from the inside, is the easiest way I could say. I told Tyler my eye pain was Stan Hansen thumb to Vader's eye level eye pain in a text message. And I don't know if it was that bad, but it was pretty rough. So I had some downtime. And when I came to from a medicated sleep, I saw that Jurassic World, Rebirth was available on Peacock. So I was like, you know what? I'm here. I wanted to see it. I didn't get to see it in the theaters because I didn't want to permanently, traumatize my child. So I watched it in the living room by myself, solo dolo. And this movie was to the same quality and standards as Jurassic Park 3, which was not a good movie. Well, I'm going to remind myself of a conversation I had with my buddy in high school, Mike Clemens, shout out to Mike, where we went to that movie. We went to see it live. We went to see it when it came out. And we walked into it going, we know this isn't going to be any good, but who cares? Dinosaurs. I kind of felt that way. I went, okay, Scarlett Johansson is in this. Mahershala Ali is in this. How bad could it possibly be? It's not that bad. People are ragging on it like it's like apocalyptic. It's just not good. It is pretty flat in terms of character development, storyline. Everything just felt rehashed and repeated. There's only so many times you can hide under a Jeep from a giant dinosaur trying to eat you before we go, okay, we've seen this one before, I think. All they did was have a mutated 4-armed T-Rex xenomorph hybrid thing on the island that was kind of scary and threatening, and it was there for like 8 seconds. Really strangely put together film. I think they need to stop making these at this point. If they're ever going to do anything again, it's going to have to be back to Jurassic Park and start it all over, and give us like 20 years before that happens, because that's a masterpiece. Would I recommend watching it? If nothing else is on and you're like, yeah, dinosaurs, yeah, turn it on. If you have any other options are better. That's what I got.
In retrospect, excited may have been a reach when I
was very excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I was all in. I don't look at reviews for movies like that, because I think I'm just going to find disappointment there, because I'm like, I'm not going in to see high art. I'm going in to see
the Mike Kleiman story. It lives. It will live in forever. Yes, fitting.
Truly. Tyler, I didn't miss that, but what did we miss?
Yeah, I have a few notes for what did we miss. First, big shout out to those who follow us on social media at GIPod19. I want to show love to 3 gentlemen in particular. You may recall weeks ago, Brad, we had a conversation about Home Alone and our favorite Christmas movies. I want to give a shout out first to Jabari Davis. Jabari commented on Instagram his picks for favorite Christmas movies. An annual tradition for him include Die Hard, Friday After Next, Bad Santa, and Trading Places. What a quartet! We can always count on Jabari for giving us picks of different genres and just always coming through. Jabari, thank you for the love and for your contributions there. Also, one more shout out for the great George Romero. our previous guest on volume 1 of Stranger Things season 5. He chose The Grinch. He specifically notated in parentheses, The Grinch starring Jim Carrey. Love
Correct.
that for you, George.
Right.
And then finally, local shout out to me here in the Valley, Charles Schultz. Thank you, Charles, for contributing your thoughts on Home Alone. Charles just gave us some affirmation. He said, Home Alone, quote, the best one ever. We love Charles. Shout out to the Greenway High School Demons. I know his son, at least one of his sons, goes there, and we so greatly appreciate his support as well. So that's my first What Did We Miss? And then, Brad, wrestling-wise, 2 quick notes for you. Congrats to Darius Lockhart and the team over at Ashe Wrestling as they held their 2-year anniversary show in Charlotte over the weekend.
It's big time.
And Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA, signs with AMC. As you may have heard, Thursday Night Impact will debut on AMC Network beginning January 15th.
It's about time they got a major network to get him on there, and not have to be stuck into Twitch or some streaming platform I've never heard of. It's just those performers deserve a better platform, and it sounds like they're going to get that. Tyler, first of all, I wanted to shout out you. Like always, I'm going to shout out your dad. I'm sitting here matching Cade today. Shout out to my Detroit Pistons and that Isaiah Stewart block. That made the rounds on the internet this week, and boy, was it fun to watch over and over and over and over again. I have to shout out you and the fam for giving me this. I just got to show the wrestling related content on the wrestling pod, right? This is so exciting. This is such a thoughtful, awesome gift. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody allowing me to do stuff this week, even though it's a lot of work. Shout out to Amy Evans and her dance class students who had their dance performance on Friday. It is not a small endeavor to do something like this. There's a lot of coordinating, a lot of effort, a lot of thought. It's almost the same as doing a theatrical production, because you have to think about costuming, makeup, lighting, all of that stuff. It's a lot. And to have the really loud dance music bumping in the auditorium while there's a game going on and the refs want the music to be turned down, which is not going to happen. So shout out to her. Shout out to that ref for thinking he'd change it. And yesterday, the Marana tree lighting happened, and I see a lot of talented kids around the Marana area, and just, I don't know how many people showed up. I mean, tens of thousands of people were there. It was absolutely packed. On the way home, we heard some ambulances, so hopefully everything turned out. I haven't seen any news or anything. But I will say shout out to House of Brats, but it's House of Brats. I got a righteous brat last night. And also, I don't know the name of this place. There's a Cajun food truck. And I knew the second when I heard the voice coming out of that truck, I was like, I made a mistake. Even though the brat was delicious and I look forward to it every year, I heard that woman's voice and I was like, oh, I should have gone there, man. Jess did go there, and I did eat half of her food. It was incredible. So it was an awesome night. I always like going to get the food trucks and supporting the local businesses and stuff. And it was just a lot of fun. So if you have a local tree lighting or a local event, go do that. Support the kids in the community. Go do something fun for the holiday. Get out, even if it's really cold. You know it's not here. That's probably why I enjoyed my evening so much. Lots of people in shorts and t-shirts, which I think is absolutely crazy. I had a hoodie on and a jacket and a couple of layers. And I lived in Michigan for half of my life. So if I'm cold, go put on a hoodie. That's all I got.
I love that. 'Tis the season. Starting the episode with gratitude, Brad. Ending the episode with gratitude as well. We will be back next week. In the meantime, we thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Monday. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.